Good morning, everybody. Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group, for another episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. This is episode 21, so we're moving right along, and today's guest is going to be phenomenal. Pete Kempf of Stealth Shield Solutions. Can't wait to bring him on and talk to him in just a minute. But it's been a great week so far. Very excited about who we've had a chance to talk to. We got a chance to have a great conversation with Nate Cross last week, and I'm really excited about the rest of the guests this week. We've got Charlie Safro of CS Solutions tomorrow. She's an incredible founder, CEO, and creating culture with our company. Excited to have my boy Hayden Allred on Thursday. This guy's just intense. He actually put out a post today about his daughter's drawing as an NFT. You got to check that out. So if you're not following Hayden Allred, make sure you do that. He's going to be here on Thursday to talk about a couple things, plus make an announcement. We've got an announcement we're going to make on Thursday, so make sure you join us on Thursday. And then Friday, we're going to round out the week with Lauren Began. She's one of the top voices when it comes to maritime in the shipping, transportation, and logistics industry. So excited to have her on to talk about her company that she started, what she does consulting-wise, and talk about some leadership principles as well. So it's going to be a great week. I'm very excited about that. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, follow, and comment throughout the show or just on social media. We'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you think about the show and how we can improve it. And if you have a moment, go to our website, betaconsultinggroup.com, to learn more about how Beta Consulting Group can help you with your sales and marketing outcomes, especially in the sense of branding and things like that. So a lot of great things there to check out. And finally, in regards to that, while you're on our website, be sure to check out the events page because we got an event coming up April 30th. We're almost a month away. We're doing a Tough Mudder charity challenge for Word on the Street. And so really excited about that. We're going to be doing a 9-mile, 30 obstacle race. We got about 5 or 6 people on the team right now who are going to be participating, and others are going to be coming in for the weekend. It's going to be a great weekend event with a Cardinals game and brunch at my house. But most importantly, everybody, we're raising money for an organization called Battle Buddy 3 Gun. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization that helps wounded veterans go on some shooting drills and competitions, specifically wounded veterans who are paralyzed, who can't walk. And so they have special wheelchairs, and they're taking them out, giving them a sense of hope, a sense of community. And we're going to be raising money for them. So we're raising $100,000 to help benefit 250 wounded veterans. So we're very excited about that. So be sure to hit the donate page, the GoFundMe page. All the money goes directly to Battle Buddy 3 Gun. As I said, they're a tax-deductible charitable organization of 501c3. So we appreciate your help to help us get to that $100,000 goal for this event. What's up, TJ Knutson? Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the show. TJ Knutson of Hoosier Logistics. We're going to get him on here soon. That guy's fire. We're going to get him back on. He was on last week, and have him on again soon, which is exciting. But for now, today is Pete's day. So everybody, let's welcome to the stage my good friend, Pete Kempf. Pete, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, Trey. Good. I'm glad to be here. It's been too long. I know we've talked on the phone just a little bit through your transition and my transition as well. As both former educators, kind of leaving the world and been out both for I think 2 or 3 years now each, a little longer for yourself, but kind of learning the way of the business world and navigating, and now both going into business on our own.
There's a lot of crossover in teaching and education into business. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but you look like you're ready to coach a game. I mean, you got that just coach look, you got the pullover, look like you're ready to go, man. Are you doing any coaching right now, or what are you into?
A little bit. I do like film consulting. So lucky enough that I was just love football. Everyone has what they're addicted to. Like I know you got the golf thing going. I coached a little golf. My dad played the Eastern leg swing on the PGA. I forget what the tour name was back in the day in the 70s and 80s. No, so I do a little film breakdown analysis for some of my network. Private school here in Fort Wayne, Bishop DeWanger. I do defensive film work enough to do and kind of do some. I call it consulting, but going in. Love my 3-4 odd stack, multiple defense, zone fires, backing up with some everything's quarters now, but I'm still a cover 2 match quarters guy. And so I'm lucky enough I get to talk a lot of zone package blitzes because I'm very fortunate, did a lot of studying, have a lot of great connections and guys that, I've been able to take a lot of collegiate principles to bring them down to the high school level and, create a lot of havoc in what's called the chaos theory from Matt Mitchell up at Grand Valley State years ago. He's up there with Brian Kelly. He's the head coach now. So, he wouldn't have any idea what I am, but took a lot of his principles, brought them down to the high school level and found a lot of success with them. So that's been a blast. And can do that today. And, I think I did 7 or 8 schools last year and just do it for free, go in, talk football, and love every minute of it.
And that type of analysis is really table stakes now for football programs that want to succeed. I mean, the power of video and
Mhm.
what it's done for programs. It reminds me back to one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans,
Oh
with
yeah.
Coach Boone, who he went to the math teacher and said, "Hey, I want you to analyze this footage and give us some insights." And I mean, it's kind of what you're doing. You're taking
Mhm.
footage and breaking it down, whether it be data, statistics, angles,
Oh yeah.
whatever it might be. It's like it's really fascinating to see what has become of that. That's pretty cool, to do that. And now, of course, I mean, what this is part from what we're going to talk about. But what are your thoughts
Yeah.
about sports really becoming analytical? I mean, you think of baseball season's about to start. You're going
Yeah.
to see teams doing the shift. Football teams, a lot of times they're using data now to better understand players. If somebody gets injured and another player comes in, it's like they already know that player's weakness and they're going right after
Yeah.
him because they know, like, they analyze so many things. What are your thoughts about sports being analytical as opposed to just kind of natural instinct and reactionary?
So, I'm kind of I'm unfortunate enough. I'm at the age where I'm like that. What do they call me? A geriatric millennial, right? I grew up without
That's a
cell
good
phones.
term.
I grew out with, I was playing Atari and Nintendo, and you couldn't save anything, and then you're blowing on hard, laser discs were awesome. Right? That was formational in my youth.
There's a
Um,
lot of people right now listening that have no idea what you're talking about, but I love it.
correct.
I completely do.
Yeah, so I'm lucky enough. I fought off cell phones till like 2005, maybe. Then I'm
That's a
rocking
pretty good
like
fight. Pretty
it
good
was,
fight.
it
Yeah.
was my now wife's like, hey, she got tired of calling my room. She's like, no one answers. You're never around. Like, if you don't get a cell phone, we're done. So I got a cell phone, and was that the Razor? Like, I was high tech
Yep.
right off the
Yep.
bat. But
If
no,
you're
when it
like my
comes down,
father-in-law, you'd say that's intentional.
it
I
was,
don't
it
want. I
was.
don't want to be bothered. Don't want to be interrupted. That's
So
funny.
no, it's a great question because it's even more analytical now. Um, it's crazy. We're not going to go straight into Billy Ball, but what I love analytics in the high school game. So whether it comes to like golf, so golf's real easy. We used to play games of 3, right? So whenever you're playing 9 or 18 holes, my players would always fold their cards into 3 holes. Track their putts. Or let's say a Pacific player, we wanted to improve something on like a Tuesday round at a match play. You're playing 3-hole games. That was more of a mental trick. And then we always picked on one thing. This is what you're going to track. So this is back in like the early 2000s or mid 2000s. And it was a simple way to improvement, right? So it was always part of the game, but learning how to improve, and it comes down to processes. So like my background as a head coach, track, whatever that is, where it landed me in success in business is process manufacturing, outside perspective, and building kind of that network base of like what works, what doesn't. This is how to alter, building multiple lines of communication, because when you're a head coach, of a program only like I think it was 110 kids, school of 1,200. I mean, you're inundated with information from everybody because everybody knows more than you do, which is all right because everybody's perspective is different than my own. So when we look at things like you see a little bit now in the high school game on 4th and 1, where do you go for it? Where do you don't? You're doing onside kicks. Like, what is the most advantageous to help promote winning, right? It's kind of hard to bring down totally into the high school game because you have to have the support staff, the systems, or constant reminders. So it's a blend. So on a Friday night, on in a football game, or let's say even like a 4x1 race in track and field. You're looking at who I have, how are they performing on the day. I have 6 options I could put on in the race, or I could have, one of 3 plays in this situation. What I'm going to do. That's mostly a gut call at that time, which you have to have. I'm a fan of emotion. Emotion happens for a reason, even though it's just a biochemical reaction. Emotion can drive proper decision-making with proper practice and proper process. So when I look at, if I were to go back to be a head coaching today, which probably will never happen, where am I going to bring analytics to the game? That's going to be personal performance improvement. You have video, we have, graded film, but I'm going to bring back, there's so many little gadgets now where you can track speed, performance improvements. Like, how does a young individual improve from point A to point B? Because really, when you look at a program, when you look at a business, whatever that is, you're never going to have 100% A players. It's impossible.
Right. Yeah,
Right. So
exactly.
exactly. So when you're in a hiring process, or when you're trying to build a staff, or trying to build an offense, and trying to build the right people in the right position, I love, so again, I taught psychology, AP Psych, have a degree in it. We're both probably guys that have way too many degrees and don't even do anything with the degrees that we
I've
have.
got a couple I'm not using. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Licenses too. So it comes down to, this guy's an INTJ or, working genius model 3 or I forget the working genius, the Enneagram. You do all these tests and, you kind of learn more about this individual and, oh, they'd be perfect for here, putting the right people in the right seat. It's, that's a pretty popular moniker, but, you have all that information, but having those conversations with that individual, know where they are, know how they're performing, building a process for them to approve. So all that data is good to a certain point. It helps individuals stay on top of it. It's mentally rewarding. As a young man or young woman grows, they're going to know, hey, I'm improving. Hooray. It keeps them coming back. It builds conversation. It builds relationship. But in the end, data is only as good as the relationship that it builds. And that's all.
And knowing how to use the data, like having a lot of data is great, but knowing how to use it is really fascinating. So one of my good friends is out on the PGA Tour. His name is Jared Wolf. He's a rookie this year. And on the PGA Tour, they give you all your data for all your shots. I mean, they'll tell you like what your yardage was, what club you hit, how far away from the hole it ended up. All that data, you have all of that. So he said he took all that data to a statistician and said, hey, I want you, a guy who's well known to do this. He goes, I want you to help me know what to practice. And so the guy was looking at the data and he said, okay, how many hours or how much of your time, what percent of your time are you using to practice shots 70 yards and in? He goes, about half my time. Because the thought was you really got to practice those shorter clubs. Those are the scoring clubs, you got to make sure those are dialed in so you can always get up and down, which is a true point to a certain extent. But he said, Jared, how many of those shots have you hit on the PGA Tour this year? So think about it. He's played probably 10 tournaments. He's taken 290 shots, 280 shots, 270 shots per tournament. Yeah. So we're talking about a sample size of like 3,000 shots. Out of 3,000 shots, how many have you hit? And he goes, I don't know, maybe 300. He goes, 32. Yeah. So he goes, why are you spending half your time on something that you've only done 32 times? He goes, here's the shots that you're losing strokes and here's where you need to practice. And so it's helped him know how to practice better just by having the data, which last year he was a professional. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour. He won twice. Yeah. He didn't have any of that data. So the question is that data going to help him improve, which it sounds like it could, or is that going to create some sort of like kind of paralysis by analysis? Because now it's too much information. Yeah. And maybe now he's not playing off a feel. It's a real fascinating conversation in the world of sports of how data can enhance, but also how it could potentially deter or negatively impact athletes. But really fascinating. I think the point that I want to make about this is that there's a crossover with business, because in business and sales and processes, whether that's in the operation side of things or in the sales or in marketing, we now do have access to data, and it's, are we using it correctly? And I loved what you said, to further improvement, to actually help people improve. That's what it's really for. If it doesn't help you improve, what's the point of having the data? So I love that you talked about that. Talk a little bit about the crossover, because we're both educators. Yeah. We both have that teaching coach mentality. How do you approach business from the standpoint of wanting to help people get better using data and that coach mentality? How do you become a coaching leader in business after being like a football coach?
No, absolutely. So I guess I'll do the plug now. So Stealth Shield Solutions, right? That's a mouthful. And eventually it'll be SS Solutions, but
S cubed. Just call it S cubed. Let's go to the math.
We talked about it, man. Let's get two head coaches. We argue about what it should be called. This is the happy medium for now. But, so really, we produce a product that we can retrofit to any door type inside a door that promotes. It's lockdown, in a lockdown procedure. It's run, hide, fight. So if you're not running, you have to hide in the classroom. We produce a product that's, the first of its kind right here in Northern Indiana, American made. From injecting it to printing, like everything's done in-house. All it is a very simple shield that teachers close. We help, we let school design and market what they want on the shield, but when you close it, it looks like the door's shut. So if you think about it, when a gentleman or a person comes in with mass intent to cause harm, jiggle a handle, look in the window. So what we've done is we have eliminated the need to, move tape. We brought something up to code. So great. We've got this product, right? We've got a lot of support pieces around it, but how do we survive? How do we grow? Well, we know where we're heading, but we have to make sure that we can stay in business, because we're technically, we've had this product for about 6-7 months. Our business is about a month old. We've got plenty of sales to survive in advance, but how do we go from point A to point B? Right. So we're looking at our processes now. We're going through a job where I think that the school district had, was a little over like 400 and some odd shields that we're in the process of installing, but there's almost 20 different size windows with different, some are double shades, sliders. It's kind of a fun process, but it's been way too long because we have to rely on other people to do certain things. And so how do we reduce this process from start to finish from 3 weeks to a week? How do we reduce our air limits from a 10% roughly air, air that has cost us money to reduce it to 2.5? And then so we're going to launch what's called an ambassador sales program next month that's going to go nationwide, working to employ educators and former teachers or retirees that want to go sell, believe in their districts, have connections, like great, and they're going to be positively reimbursed for this to help school districts and have some fun. How to build that process out. We're looking
that.
Yeah. So it's, we serve, like that's who we are as educators. We're service oriented, which, it takes a framework of when you spend a life in non-for-profit service, when you go to a for-profit mindset, that's a whole nother conversation. How do you change your mindset of, oh, I'm only going to make a 10 or 15% markup because I know I can stay in business. I only need a little bit of money to survive. Like, how do you go from that to a growth mindset where I know that I have to make time over time a 25%, 30%, gross margin or net margin. And that's the only way that we're going to survive and advance. So, it's all different pricing models. It's been a blast, business accounting, but, when it comes down to, all right, how do we scale? It's, the install process, the communication process, the measuring process, like all these little things that, even as a head coach, when you start, you're building it all, but, 5 years later, you forget. Like, you have to go line the fields in the summer. You have to go mow. You have to make sure the helmets are disinfected. You have to order jerseys. Oh, these 3 players bought jerseys. What about the highlight film? What games? What does off-season lifting look like? Process. Where did we suck? That was always the question. We came in after
Right.
You take the 3 weeks off. All right, where were we bad? We're 8-3. Where were we bad? Okay, we stunk at open field tackling. We know that through feel, right? And we'll go back and do some data and analytics, but we're gonna go look at every coach is going to break down a game and count every missed tackle. Then we're going to create a highlight film. Then we're going to go through as a defensive staff and we're going to look why we missed that. And we're going to look at that data. Okay, so we missed this tackle because our head was on the wrong side. We took a bad angle. We didn't have proper pursuit of the ball. We didn't gang tackle. We're too focused on the turnover. Didn't attempt the turnover. So, through those analytics, we brought in, the Seahawk. That was when the Seahawk tackling, rugby tackling became big from Pete Carroll years and years ago. We brought in their process. We adapted our processes together. We're not going to take what the pros do. We're going to dumb it down to our level because we're high school guys, right? We're dumb and ugly. So
Right.
we're dumb and ugly this up for our kids, and that way we communicate it. So we have to communicate at their level that they can understand, which is because as coaches, we know everything, right? Huge. One of some of the most prideful people I ever met were coaches in any sport. So how do we dumb this down to our level? And then how do we, bring it down another level to speak at that 6th grade level? We got to be able to teach this to 6th graders and keep it consistent through a communication paradigm all the way up. It's the same thing for business. Absolutely is the same thing for business. I got to keep everything at a 9th grade level because, that's the New York Times is written at 9th grade level for the mass consumption. Everything is written at a 9th grade level. Okay, so how do we keep this at a 9th grade level? So it doesn't matter who it is, where it is, can understand it, easily process it, and continue to work and continue to communicate. So that's a big process we're working through right now at Stealth Shield. It's awesome. It's fun. Learning about, we do the 3M, a different company, but the safety films with, the perforated vinyl products. And we bought we're in the process of buying a $20,000 printer. Like, it's just all these crazy things that we do are because they're fun to learn. We're improving consistently. And you know what? We're building relationships throughout the nation. It's been awesome. It's been a blast. And it's the same thing that we got going on at Hoosier. So for those, I got to plug TJ because I know he's listening. 2 jobs, work 12 to 14-hour days. Love it. Same thing here. We're helping the Fort Wayne office out, helping him build process. Him teaching me a lot about the industry, learning, we got a great team, about 4 people out there right now that are killing it. It's crazy how fast we've grown in a very slow and organic way and still, turning out big numbers, which has been awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to Hoosier Logistics. Thanks for watching, TJ. A lot of good things happen over there. I'm glad that you're a part of that as well. And I want to unpack some of that. So first of all, thanks for helping out teachers. I remember when I was a teacher, I used to think I was stuck, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I love teaching, but I remember
Yeah.
thinking, well, what if I wasn't a teacher? What else could I do? I just couldn't think of anything else that I might do. And so, the fact that you're giving teachers an opportunity, whether retired or whether they're working to help out a little bit, and the fact that you're taking a problem, and there's a big problem in our culture, and that
Yeah.
is we make schools no gun zones,
Yep.
but lawbreakers don't care about that. And so they're going to come into a school with a gun or with a weapon,
Mhm.
and they don't care that it's a no gun, gun-free zone. So how do you take a place that is supposed to be gun-free and neutral and a safe place for kids, and then turn it into a fortified building that can withstand
Yeah.
weapons being brought in? That's a big problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is a great solution. So I love the fact that you're doing that. I love the fact that you're getting teachers involved, and I love the fact that you're taking processes and things that work and
Mhm.
evaluating situations and then putting it into action. I think a lot of businesses struggle to do that because it takes time and it takes
Yeah.
intentionality and it takes effort. And a lot of times you're just so busy or understaffed, or
Mhm.
maybe you're not staffing correctly, that you just miss out on that. So to me, that's a huge thing to hear you say, all the processes that go into it and what that means for business. As a leader, you've got to be the one that knows the process and owns the process and
Mhm.
communicates that and trains on that. Like, you've got to get everybody on the same page on that process so that you can work like a well-oiled machine. I
Yeah.
imagine that's been quite the challenge and something you've learned a lot about as a coach that's now helping you in business, with not only you understanding and thinking about those processes, but then communicating and training other people
Yeah.
to make sure that the ship is running really, really smoothly.
Yeah, and so I think really too, it's because you're also, as a leader, your mind shift. Let's talk about another mindset shift. The shift is, again, like, let's say you're in the classroom, or that you are you're a salesman, right? And you're making cold calls, you're doing cold emails. Your sales is your focus. You're grinding. You're making 1,000 contacts a week. You're busting it, like, that's a way of life, right? And you're hoping to have that 1 to 2% return. As a teacher, it's you are a master of your content. You're a master of the process to deliver the content and have kids retain it based on a test. So it's really really, as a teacher and salespeople are the same thing. It really is. You have to be a master of what you know and a master of your customer, whether it's a student or whether it's a small based business, whatever it may be. You have to be a master of how they need to understand what you're delivering, what service you have that can help them achieve success. So,
Yeah.
you're grinding. So all of a sudden you're a leader. You move from, you have to lead clients, you have to lead, it's just more of a relationship based sales process mindset to, okay, these people around me don't care what I know. They want to, they'll survive. They want to have their own agenda, which is what you want. You want people to grow based on how they want to grow so they can own that. Um, as a leader, so you no longer have to be a content expert. You have to have a base and strong knowledge of what goes on, what your customers are looking for, but you have to rely on the people that you serve that service the bottom line, which is, some type of, profit, whether it be knowledge gained, whether it be safety increased, or whether it be, just a net profit. So knowing that's your goal, your job is to learn and understand the processes those people need to follow and build processes that people can operate in to, achieve success. And a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I read a book called The Leadership Pipeline, which talks a lot about this, about how priorities change. When you're
Mhm.
a first level leader, you're basically a producer. Like, you're leading
Yeah.
yourself. That's the first level, is just lead yourself. You're a salesperson, you're out there, you're producing. But then as you move up, if you become a team lead, now it's just not about you, it's about other
Yeah.
people. Like, you have to have different priorities, different priorities on time and on process. Is no longer about necessarily you just performing. It's now you helping other people succeed. When you become a sales leader, an actual sales leader, you're not going to do any producing yourself directly. Now you're complete. It's like Coach K, right? We're about to watch the
Yeah.
March Madness coming up here. Duke's in the Final Four again. It's not a surprise, but
Yep.
when Coach K's on the sideline, he's not making any shots. He's not defending the ball. He's not getting a rebound. He's not doing any of that. He is not producing, and he hasn't produced in 40 some years. But he has to lead those guys to be able to put them in the best position for them to do those types of things. It's a different priority. He used to play. I'm sure he loves to play, and loved to play. But then that went away when he became a coach. And it's the same
Mhm.
thing as a sales leader. It's the same thing as a manager, as a CEO, as a whatever. When you're leading people, that priority has to change.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
you're right on with that. And when it comes down to it, it's how you judge yourself, right? Because the internal process of how you view the world around you has to have a momentous shift, because how you view your personal success is no longer a bottom line number. It's how do others improve around you? And that's crazy hard because, Bill over here, he's killing it. He was already killing it, but you've helped him improve from, it's the old book, good to great, great to excellent. How do you take, where I hung my hat as a high school coach and teacher, I was able to take the young individuals who were not high performers, and I made them good, and occasionally they became great. Where I didn't have exceptional experience because I was of the mindset of I never did great to excellent, because that wasn't the majority of what could make the program successful. So I had to go find people, swing coaches, for example, that knew a heck of a lot more than I did at 24 as a head golf coach, to take, this individual who is now the number 1 or 2 bowler in the world and help him go. He already had those sources. He didn't need me for it. I just built a culture that he was a part of and could excel. Right. There's a young woman by the name of Rachel Dinkoff. I helped her as her discus coach. She was in the Olympics this last year. She's an amazing
Very
woman.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. And, her story is incredible. So go follow her. I'll drop that line here from Instagram, and she's amazing. She's her boyfriend plays for the Jets. Like, she went to IPFW, came from a horrible. I would say
if they have kids someday, watch out.
He was a 5-star recruit, played for Auburn. Like, dude, her name is Rachel Dinkoff. Go find her. Amazing woman. She's number 2 discus thrower this year for Team USA. But like, it was just all right. So I had to help her with processes because she wasn't there yet. She just sucked everything in. Like, she just took it all in. Her wife was a volleyball coach. Like, and she took all the help she only took the help she needed, and she took herself somewhere great. So, but that wasn't me. She took herself to the next level. I was just a small part of that process. It's all about how, as a leader, I know that I can't help Rachel pass point C. Well, how in the hell do I get her to point Olympics? Well, I can't, but I can introduce her to somebody.
Right. No, it's so cool. So it's amazing. Our time is almost up. It's unbelievable.
Really?
We got about 2.5 minutes left. I know it goes fast. It goes really fast. We're going to have you back on to talk more about this. But last thing we should talk about, if you can give me 60 seconds on the like how you view relationships as a coach and now in business, the importance of knowing your players and building a good relationship with them. Real quick, 60 seconds on that.
60 seconds. So if you're a coach and you're working with young individuals, or maybe people that are 25 and under, it's a generational mindset, right? They're coming into the world. It's been crazy. It's about, they want to know very specific on what they can do to be successful. Lay something out very simple, right? Lay it all out. This is a career track. It's flexible. Go get it. They want to have control. Even the 40 and under group, they want to have control of their day. We've seen this big shift. So as a leader, you have to create your processes, right? Because this whole conversation ended up being about processes, right? Your processes have to be unbelievably flexible. You have to kind of take a deep breath and hold on, because that's going to be a challenge to all of us who are trying to build successful businesses, because you work on other people's time frames. So unless you want to own every piece of minutia as a leader, which you can't, and be successful over the long term, you have to really focus your time on, surrounding yourself with the right people, with the right working mindset, and with the right personalities. As we look at dealing with an older generation, that 40 and up group, it's the same. It's always been. Here's the process. They want some more flexibility, but you really can let them go and build on their own because of the experience, what they have. And I've been blessed to be surrounded by people from all stages. And really, when it comes down to it, listen, learn about those people, know their names, know their stories. And by just doing that, you've already helped them succeed in some way. You've put them in the right seat. They care about you, care about them. I use the term love. It's not like that romantic sense, but the term love is love your goal. Help people love what they're trying to achieve. Your goals don't have to be the same, but they have to be aligned. And in the end, that's what matters.
No, I think that's great. That's incredible advice. I hate to cut you off. I can't believe we're up against time here. This has been awesome. And, creating structure and processes that maintain flexibility, that is challenging right now with the work from home. But at the end of the day, people want to know they're cared about. They want to know that somebody's there to help them get better and to be cared about. And so that's really critical. Pete, thanks so much for being on the show. I hope you'll come back and see us again soon.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time and look forward to seeing how things work out with Stealth Shield Solutions and what you're doing over at Hoosier Logistics. And maybe we can get back out and play a little golf. Next time I'm back in Indiana, we'll have to get out.
Absolutely. I think we got
some
rain. We have some rain tickets, so you got to go hit it up.
I know we got to go do that for sure. Well, everybody's watching. Thanks again for tuning in today. Be sure to catch us on demand if you came in late, and be back here tomorrow at 10:30 for a conversation with Charlie Safro, founder and CEO of CS Solutions, and be sure also to check out betaconsultinggroup.com. See how we can help you out with your sales and marketing outcomes. Everybody have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow on Standing Out, a podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. We'll see you.